got new Rolexes. It's 2020. This year's been a little tough for a lot of things. There's a lot pandemic happening, a lot of bad news, but we got good news this year. This is the new Rolex lineup, what they've changed in their lineup. I'm very excited in making this video. This video might go later than all the other videos because I did an unboxing on the Seiko and I wanted to upload that first, because in a week from that upload, I will make a full review. So subscribe for the review on this. But today is not about Seiko, it's about Rolex. Okay, Rolex released new watches. I gotta calm down. These are awesome. I think, okay, I understand. Submariner was bad at 40 mil. Like it was a bulky case. It felt like a lot bigger. But no, they released it in 41. So the people that, don't know too much about the case construction and do this, they making YouTube videos and saying, oh, if the Rolex sub was bad at 40, why would somebody make it? Why would Rolex make it 41? Well, first of all, Rolex is trying to accomplish the perfect watch. That was their goal. That's their whole thing. They're going to make slight changes. Everybody thought 2020 they're going to do this dramatic change in their collection. No, they are not. They do it purposely, very small changes from the last. They're not doing what they used to do in the 70s, 80s, even 90s with their changes. The materials are getting maxed out. We already have Cerachrome, ceramic bezels. We got the white gold. It's up there. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to find the perfect watch. That's what they call it. 41 Submariner. Let's address the elephant in the room right away. I'll go through all the lineup, but this one, first of all, they had it first came out the no date, and then we found out the date, what they look like. The lugs curved in. It's a lot that they slimmed out the case. They made it a lot better. Now I understand, I heard the measurements about 50 mil lug to lug. I don't know if that's a fact yet, but I've heard that from other people. If that's the case, yeah, it might wear a bit big, but the 41 is not like the 40. The 40, they say, wears bigger than the 41, which is exciting. I wouldn't mind if they actually dumped it down a little bit, go back to the more vintage kind of look. I understand that that's not really in style and everything, but the 38, the Submariner started at 38. So I'm from 38 to 40, now 41 in 2020. I think that's fine. I think that's a great addition. We're going to talk about the different ones, and some of them they took away. So we got a new Kermit watch. What I mean by the Kermit is it's the watch that has the green bezel around it. Before it was in aluminum, now it's in ceramic. So it's an improvement. Also, they got rid of they discontinued the Hulk. We all knew it was coming. It's a change, but there people are calling this one not the Kermit anymore. They're calling it the Starbucks. I like the original name, but Starbucks, when you're spending this crazy money on a watch, you want to be calling it the Starbucks. It's up to you. So the Smurf, white gold, I know, it's very coveted. And I understand why they didn't release the blue in steel, the blue Submariner. First of all, I get they did it in Tudor and it was very hyped up. Everybody was saying that's their prediction. There was crazy predictions, right? Daytona's this and that, they were all predicting. You can't have these expectations. First of all, we also have to recognize we're in a pandemic right now. Rolex has to take a few steps back, assess the world, because if something happens, we get in a recession, Rolex is going to be hot, but who knows if, something happens. So they have to strategize and everything. And I think they would have released it like this year anyway, because there's crazy, crazy predictions. Now, going back to the Smurf. The Smurf was a blue dial and blue ceramic bezel Submariner, which it is. Now there's just the blue. So they kept it white gold and they added a blue ceramic bezel. I think it's still nice. So going on to the Sky Dweller. So Sky Dweller, they did nothing really to it. We're going to talk about the purpose of the Sky Dweller, but the Sky Dweller was announced in Oyster Flex. I get it, right? You're spending crazy amount of money. Why don't you just get it on the bracelet? I think Oyster Flex is in style now. People like more casual. You don't need to dress it up. The Sky Dweller, I should say, first came out, and it was supposed to be like the day date. Like it was supposed to be the ultra luxury watch, even more than the day date. But it wasn't doing well. The sales were tanking because you could buy a Patek for the same price as you can buy a Sky Dweller. So they didn't go too well. Then they released it in steel. It boomed. Then 2020, they released the Oyster Flex only on the precious metal version, so only on white and yellow. So that's what they did, and I think it was an okay addition. This is not huge groundbreaking, but they did add it. I think eventually the Oyster Flex will even go into the Submariner. It's inevitable, and it's all opinion too, because Oyster Flex, they do make it. It's a good bracelet. It's not just plastic. New Oyster Perpetuals. This is probably the fun part of the release. Submariner, they did the whole case construction, everything. But the Oyster Perpetuals, they had a lot of fun dials. They added, I think it was like in a yellow, blue, lighter blue, I should say. They added pink, they added red, and they added green. They added all these like new types of dials. Fantastic. I like that look. I like that. It reminds me of more vintage models, because I like vintage Rolex. We're talking like 60s, 70s. I understand that, they're not as built like today, but you can buy an Oyster Perpetual looking like the vintage now for that with all the new sapphire and everything, with these options. So the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good is that they did release these watches in new colors. The bad is that they got rid of the 39 millimeter, and the ugly is that they made it 42 millimeters. I would love to know what is happening in exec's mind right now, an executive, because honestly, the big news was before this 2020 that Rolex released the 36 mm Oyster Perpetual, and now it's not that. So it's bothering me a bit. I don't know why they did this move. They must have their own reasons. They do their own research, but 42, that's the same as a Sky Dweller. Those are big watches. That's bigger than the Submariner 42. I understand it doesn't feel like it because the Submariner, the way it's built, but still 42. I prefer the 39. I think 39 is one of the best millimeters you can buy, and it's really a shame they did that. But I don't mind a 36. So if I wanted really one of these new Oyster Perpetuals and I had the money in my pocket and I had to get one of these, I would go with the 36 mm opposed to the 42 mm. That's a big watch. So that's up to you. So that concludes the big parts of this, the lineup. Now, they changed the two-tone ones, the Submariner two tones. Instead of having gold lettering, they have white now, subtle changes like that, and the different bezels and all. But this one I want to talk mainly about, because these are the huge changes. I've seen the reviewers say, oh, it's horrible, whatever. And then I've seen the reviewers that say they love it. It depends on what you think. Everybody had too much expectation. I was looking at these prediction videos. This is why I didn't make a prediction video. I think every watch YouTuber made a prediction video. It was like a whole thing. But I didn't make it because I didn't want to hype you guys up. I don't want to say, oh, they're going to release the blue sub in stainless steel. It's 2020. Of course not. Because we don't know what's happening until they release it. And they did release it. And we found this out. I think it's a lovely, additions. The worst things that happen, maybe you can argue the 41 mm on the Submariner, even though it is a better fit and finish. So it actually feels less than the 40. And the other one you can argue is the 42 mm, which I agree with you guys. I think that should have not done. I also like the Smurf, but we have to accept changes in the Rolex lineup. They've been doing it for almost over a century. Tell me about your opinions down in the comments below. I would love to hear you. Do you think Rolex is going in the wrong direction? Do you think it's going in the right direction? And just tell me everything. Do you like these new watches? Do you think, they're meh. So I would love to hear all that in the comments down below. Please smash the like button, subscribe. It really does help the channel and helps me produce more content for you. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.